we had was a very bright ball that was indicating debris getting lofted upwards by a tornado thousands of feet into the sky. Now, we're not seeing that. It looks like that debris may have gone up, scattered around the clouds a little bit, and is now beginning to fall back down. Cam, let's go ahead and put this into motion from the past 30 minutes or so, just to give folks an idea of what it looked like when it was a definitive tornado on the ground. That's it right there when it crossed from Grady into Thomas County, just to the south of Meigs there, okay, riding along Highway 111 there, State Road 111. Definitely falling apart. Good news. Still need to continue to monitor it. And based on the path it's taking, Cam, if you want to switch back, or you can keep on this view, try to draw a little bit of an arrow. I think we'll be on the same page here in terms of passing just a little bit to the north of Moultrie.
Hey, Josh, sorry, there's a new tornado warning for Leon.
Okay, so it looks like that cell that Cam has been watching really closely
and it's pretty tight south of Fort Brayton. Pretty tight circulation there.
Is this confirmed? Is this colored in?
Let me check and see.
It looks like it might be a confirmed tornado.
Radar confirmed. Yeah, you're correct.
Okay, so here we go. Leon County, need you to listen up. Here's a tornado right here. This is our debris tracker. All right, Cam, let us know how long this tornado warning is in place so we can put that at the bottom of the screen.
Noon.
Okay, this tornado warning is in place until noon. Again, this is a new tornado warning in place in western Leon County. Here's your tornado right there. See that bright ball? Just like we were watching in South Georgia. This is indicating that a tornado is on the ground. It is picking up debris, lofting it thousands of feet into the sky, and is being picked up on our radar. All right? So, where is it going to pass right now? Well, it's well to the east of Bloxham. Okay? I think it's going to pass to the south of Lake Talquin as well. This one is still really far out to the west in Leon County, but here's the thing. That warning does cut off before it gets to the southwest side of the city. So like the airport is not included in there. Cap Circle, southwest or northwest is not included in this, okay? So if you live in southwestern reaches of Leon County inside this polygon, that means that you need to get inside right now, away from windows on the lowest level in the most interior part of your home. And if you live in the city of Tallahassee, I need you to get inside as well. I need you to try to call your friends, your family, let them know, hey, if you can, now's a great time to get off the roadways and stay off of them for at least the next hour, hour and a half. Please wait till these storms pass over, because all of them have the potential of spinning up and producing a tornado, just like we're seeing right now in southwestern reaches of Leon County. This is our storm relative velocities. It gives us a great idea of which way the winds are moving. See these bright red colors right here? Those indicate winds that are moving away from the radar site at the Tallahassee airport. These green colors indicate winds that are moving towards the radar site at the airport as well. So, when you get winds moving in opposite directions start to close in upon each other, you get this rotation. And sometimes that rotation becomes so strong that it drops a tornado on the ground, and that's exactly what's happened right now in southwestern reaches of Leon County. So that's what this view is showing us from our storm relative velocities. Again, this is well to the south. Here's Highway 20 right there. Here's 267. Okay, so we're still in rural reaches of Leon County, and it's got quite a way to get even close to the airport, all right? And these storms have been moving really, really slow. So that's why I said, if we're in Tallahassee specifically, the west side of town, southwest side of town, go ahead and get inside. Stay in there for now. Let's watch this thing, see how it holds together. If it holds up long enough to where it gets close enough, then that's when we take action and get to the lowest level, the most interior part of our home. But for now, let's continue to monitor. If you live further southwest of town, more in rural reaches of western Leon County, then you need to go ahead and get inside now. Cam's showing us a good idea of some of the timetables right there. Not too much to show you, all right? Not many landmarks popping up. You just need to pay attention to that polygon, all right? That's going to be where our warning extends through. Again, Lake Talquin's going to be way up there. I think we've got a little bit of time before it gets there too, and it may end up sliding a little bit to the south, hopefully. All right, but we'll just have to keep our eyes on it. Cam, let's go ahead and switch back to our that's an impressive radar scan. Let's go to our debris signature.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so this is a very clear indication that that is a tornado on the ground, okay? Again, far western reaches of Leon County. Let's go ahead and put this into motion a little bit, just to give folks an idea of how it's moved and how it's developed. Cam was keeping his eye on this really closely here, and all of a sudden you could just see where that rotation decided to drop a tornado on the dime. and all of a sudden you see all the debris that gets picked up and lofted thousands of feet into the sky. So this is what we're going to need to really keep a close eye on right now. Okay, so we just had a new radar scan, not as bright. Still indicating there's debris getting lofted upwards. Hopefully, we'll start to see this thing fall apart a little bit. For now, still an active tornado on the ground. Again, far western reaches of Leon County.
It looks like it's almost moving more north than east. Would you agree with that?
So Cam's seeing a little bit more of a northern track. So, you know, sometimes when these things start to fall apart a little bit, they do start to take a little bit of a northern turn. So that'd be a good sign. But he makes a great point. A little bit more of a northern rather than eastward component, at least with the past couple of radar scans. All right, so we'll see how well it holds together. If we're in Fort Braden, Lake Talquin, I still think we're a little bit more on the northern side of that, but we still need to keep our eyes on it. I think it's a great time to get inside anyways. Continue to keep eyes on it as it continues to, looks like it's going to pass just over 267 here within the next minute or two. At that point, we'll be watching Highway 20. So if we're along 20, if we know folks that are traveling, let's say from Tallahassee due west along 20 near Fort Braden, near Lake Talquin, let's go ahead and pull over for the time being, okay? And also, we definitely do not want to be moving eastward along 20 at this point. I don't think many folks will be doing that because that's where the bad weather's coming from. But here is the cell, again, just about to cross over 267. While we keep our eyes on that, Cam, can we just go ahead and zoom out again, look at the radar view, just to give an idea of what's going on all across our area real quick, and we'll probably check back in on that South Georgia tornado as well. So again, here's the line of storms, stretching all the way from Moultrie, down now through Thomasville, eventually making its way into Tallahassee, down to the coast in Franklin County. I see a severe thunderstorm warning in place throughout Franklin County. That's going to be because of the very gusty winds. Let's quickly zoom in on the tornado warning that's going to be in Colquitt County. It does look like they no longer have the observed tag on it. That means that that tornado is no longer on the ground. All right. Here's the view. Moultrie still not included within that tornado warning. We'll switch to the wind velocities real quick just to give you an idea. Now you see the one in Leon County, how the reds and the greens were so much brighter, closer together. This is a little bit more broad, all right, but still they're interacting quite a bit. So let's say if we are in Colquitt County, just to the west of Moultrie there, along 111, that's the path that it's heading. So that's where we need to go ahead and get inside, away from windows, lowest level, most interior part of our home. There's Funston right there. Apologize for the pronunciation again. Should be passing just to the south of there. So it definitely, if we're on the west side of Moultrie, let's go ahead and get inside too. Take our tornado precautions, even though you're not included in this exact warning, because this cell has been giving us so much problems, all right? At one point, it was strengthening, and then it weakened, and then it strengthened so much that it dropped a tornado on the ground in northern Thomas County. Now it's weakened again, so that tornado is no longer on the ground, but still, that rotation is quite impressive, so at any moment, this can start to spin back up and drop another tornado on the ground. So again, that's going to be especially for western reaches of Moultrie. Back into Leon County. Okay, here is that tornado warning that we're watching. Again, see how bright those reds are right there? And you get that tight little couplet with that little bit of green. That little bit of green there indicating some wind moving towards the radar site while the rest of the wind is moving away from the radar site. Cam is pulling up again the debris signatures, showing us the debris getting lofted upwards in the sky. Because again, this is not just your average tornado warning. This is actually a tornado on the ground. It's been observed on radar. Okay, here it is right there. If you do the past couple of scans again, yeah, just to give you an idea of the path of it, it did take a little bit more of that northerly turn. Okay, we'll see if that holds off or if it continues to move more so due northeast. If it does, then again, we're still a little far away from the city reaches of Tallahassee. So if you, again, are in southwestern reaches of town, anywhere by the airport, or let's say more so to the west of Cap Circle, northwest and southwest, now's a good time to get inside. Keep our eyes on this one. If we're at Fort Braden, Lake Talquin, the hope is that this thing is going to pass just to your south. All right, so we're avoiding some spots here, but I know there's still a few homes probably in this area right here. So again, if you look at the map and look at this tornado warning polygon, if you're in that area, you need to get inside, away from windows, on the lowest level in the most interior part of your home. This tornado warning is encompassed within a larger severe thunderstorm warning that has a tornado possible tag on it. That tells us that any of those storms could decide to spin up a tornado at any time. That's what this little individual cell did there. You can see the colors were really bright crossing along, I believe that was 267.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, we're still a little bit south of Highway 22, Highway 20 that is.
They
But
are
there's your
going to
rotation.
let the warning for Colquitt expire, so we're down to just the one in Leon.
Okay, good. So Cam, let us know. Good news for our friends in South Georgia. The tornado that was on the ground in Thomas County and now moved into southwestern reaches of Colquitt County is no longer on the ground, and that rotation is not together anymore. Therefore, the National Weather Service is going to let that expire. Great news for folks in Moultrie. Still, you've got a powerful thunderstorm moving through. So go ahead and get inside and stay in there for a little bit. Wait till that storm passes over. So now at this point, we can focus in on that one tornado warning that we have on the board. Again, could see another one pop up at any time, so we'll continue to keep tabs on it. Here it is. Again, we're talking far western reaches of Leon County, southwestern reaches. Really, this is to the south of Lake Talquin, south of Fort Braden. Cam is pulling up some different spots along the path there. We got Lake Talquin Baptist Church. That's going to be probably a little bit more on the northern section of it. Nonetheless, want to go ahead and make sure we stay inside there. We got the Talquin Wildlife Management. I believe that's even further off towards the north as well. So the good news is that these storms are really slow moving. All right, so we've got plenty of time to keep eyes on it.
That debris ball is still there.
Yeah, there's still a tornado on the ground. That hasn't changed, okay? We're just watching where it's moving, okay? For now, it's still to the west of the city limits of Tallahassee. It's still a little bit more so to the south of Fort Braden there. We could even, if we wanted to, we could turn off a bunch of layers and just go straight to the map and kind of see what's in the path there. Definitely a little bit more of that northerly trend that Cam is thinking, just based on how it's been moving the past couple of radar scans. So again, we are now to the south of Fort Braden. We're going to continue to push towards the north and to the east. Eventually, this thing is going to be approaching Highway 20. So that's why I said, folks, if you plan on traveling west out of Tallahassee along 20, or you have some friends or your family that you know is traveling along there, make sure they call it off for a little bit, okay? Wait till the storms pass through, because you do not want to get stuck on this road with the tornado rolling through, okay? And again, that debris signature means business. That is still an absolutely definite tornado on the ground that is lofting debris thousands of feet into the sky out there. That's a really zoomed in look there of the radar scan. Fort Braden's behind me. Again, it's going to be passing a little bit more so to the south of Highway 20 at this point, but eventually it continues on the same path. It's going to get there. All right, Cam, let's zoom out a little bit, switch to the radar view just to show Leon County as a whole, just to give folks an idea of where we are in the county. All right, again, here's Tallahassee. Here's Cap Circle right there. All right, here's your airport. That's where the radar's from. You've got Midway here. You've got Tennessee Street continuing westward, and here's 20. All right, that's going to be Pensacola. There's your tornado right there, okay? So again, if it continues on the path that we're thinking, it's going to be passing over Highway 20. So at this point, if we are in southwestern reaches of the city, near the airport, this thing is likely going to move so more to the north. So at this point, my focus is on the western side of Tallahassee, western city limits, and also northwestern, okay? I'm watching Midway. I think this thing's going to slide a little bit more so to the south of Midway. All right? It's going to be coming up on Highway 20 here within the next 5 to 10 minutes. This is your polygon. That's the tornado warning from the National Weather Service. If this thing continues on the path that it's on right now, you will see them extend this warning, and you'll likely see that polygon shift a little bit. Cam is showing us another view now, of course, what the winds are doing, okay? Remember, I know I've been saying this a lot this morning, but just to give folks an idea if they're just tuning in now, these red colors are winds that are moving away from the radar site here at the Tallahassee Airport. These green colors are winds that are moving towards the radar site. So when you get winds moving in opposite directions right next to each other, that's when a thunderstorm begins to rotate. And if you get enough of that rotation really tight, close together, you get a tornado on the ground. That's exactly what's happened here in western Leon County now for the past 10 to 15 minutes or so. Okay, so Kim, if we can zoom out a little bit and slide to the south so we can put this into motion, just to give folks an idea of how it's been moving over the past 30 minutes or so. See, that's the movement. So it's moving pretty much due northeast. All right, so that's why I say if we're in southwestern Tallahassee, probably in the clear from this one, but if we're in the northwest side of town, all right, I'm talking way up Cap Circle Northwest, that's where we need to be watching things.
Hey,
Again,
the Weather Service says there's still a tornado on the ground moving southeast of Fort Braden, so they are also confirming that it's on
cool.
the ground still.
So Cam's letting us know that what we've been telling you, there's a tornado on the ground. It's to the south and to the east of Fort Braden. It's pretty much going to be due east now. It's going to be passing over 20 here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So again, last time I'll tell you, if you know, there's your debris signature that just moved again. We get a new radar scan every couple of minutes, so that's when it updates. Last warning, anyone that you know that's going to be traveling westbound out of Tallahassee along 20 towards Lake Talquin, towards Fort Braden, do not do it. Please wait. All right, wait till this storm passes through, because if this holds together, that's the path that it's going to be taken. Go ahead and, extend it. There you go. All right, you've got Norfleet there. That's around 11:55, so in the next 10 minutes. You got the power plant too. That's in about 10 minutes as well. This thing is pretty much sitting now due west of the airport. All right, so southwest side of town, you're in the clear from this individual cell. Downtown area of Tallahassee, you are also going to be in the clear from this cell at this time. This is going to continue to move more so to the north and towards the east. Okay, so that's why we say spots in far northwestern Tallahassee. And eventually, we're talking spots there near Ocklawahnee along the county line between Gadsden and Leon as well. Not quite as far into Gadsden as Midway is, but pretty much close to that county line is definitely the path that this thing looks to be taken there. We're still quite away from Highway 90. All right, got quite a bit of time before we get there. The first matter of business is going to be there along 20, because that's where we're getting here within the next 5 minutes or so.
As this moves northeast too, Josh, this is coming into a more populated area, so more people are about to be affected by this. It's been in the forest, but now it's coming into where more people live, especially in the western and northwestern areas of Tallahassee.
Yeah, Cam makes a great point there. Again, we become more and more populated as we head a little bit closer into town. And I know there's several homes all along Highway 20 here. So again, I'm hoping that the National Weather Service kind of moves their polygon here shortly, because it's about to kind of get into the end of that polygon, and it looks to be changing a little bit more of that northeasterly component. So again, Cam, if you want to go ahead and draw that polygon that you were before, even if there's not a lot of spots that pop up in there, this is a great indicator of exactly where that cell is moving. TCC, I think it's going to pass a little bit more so to the north of TCC. Again, that'd be like on the southern edge of that cone. Can we move that box out of the way?
This one?
Yeah. Just so we can see the actual cone itself. Yeah. So again, if we're talking about a path, here we are right here. Okay? It's going to be like near Norfleet power plant. All right? That's when you get from 20 to Highway 90 there. Okay? Again, this is passing well to the north of spots like the airport, southwest side of town. Let's go ahead and get back to that debris signature view, just to get an idea. Again, here's your little debris signature. That tells us that there's still a tornado on the ground, still lofting debris upwards, all right? As long as we continue to see that bright little green and yellowish spot right there, that tells us that there's still a problem. Maybe it doesn't look quite as defined as what it did earlier, but it's still too much, all right? So again, there's your confirmed tornado. It's pretty much on the edge of that warning polygon. There it is again right there. So I would assume that the National Weather Service is going to issue a new warning polygon here very shortly, okay? So this is about to cross over Highway 20, okay? We're still well to the west of Cap Circle, all right? After it passes over 20, then we'll be looking at 90 as well, okay? That's going to be around another 10 minutes or so. We go back to the storm relative velocities, giving us an idea of what the winds are doing. It looks to be not quite as impressive as some of the earlier scans. Here is that area of rotation. I'm sure Cameron will want to go ahead and circle that right there. That's where we're seeing some of the winds wrap around each other. Okay, we've got those red colors. That means winds moving away from the radar site at the airport. The little green color right there, that's the wind moving towards the radar site, telling us that the winds are rotating around themselves. Now, even with this new scan, still becoming a little bit less impressive, all right? You don't see those colors quite as bright. this is encouraging news. This is telling me that this tornado is starting to fall apart a little bit. All right, it's making its way towards the northern edge of that warning polygon as well. So you'll see a new warning issued, I'm sure, here within the next 5 minutes or so. Sometimes what happens is you see that the winds fall apart and then the debris signature kind of follows behind by around like 5 minutes or so. All right, so the newest scans show us what the wind is doing, and sometimes those debris scans are a little bit late. So sometimes you see things fizzle apart on the winds, and then like 5 minutes later you can really tell that it's not lofting as much debris into the sky. But the thing is with these storms today, they continue to move eastward, and as they do, they continue to encounter an environment that's really suitable for development, right? It's like gasoline to a car. That's what all of this warm and humid air is doing for these showers and thunderstorms. Here's the big picture view one more time. Folks in Thomasville, you're now getting the worst of those thunderstorms. Folks in Grady County starting to see things lighten up, especially in Gadsden County too. It looks like a severe thunderstorm warning there in Colquitt County, including Moultrie. But the good news is the tornado warning that was there earlier is no longer in place. My friends in Valdosta and Perry, you got to wait a while. This thing is really slow moving, okay? Patience is the name of the game today, especially if you're in Live Oak. That's even further out. So let's go ahead and get back to our tornado warning again in Leon County, just to see what's going on here. Rain view before we switch views. Again, this is the worst of the storm, all right? I know a lot of Tallahassee is still getting wet right now, but turn on the lightning real quick, Cameron, just to show, yeah, all this lightning, that's about to make its way right into town, okay? Do we pull up a view from Doak Campbell whenever you guys can get a second? No rush on that, but I think that might have a really good view of things. Yeah,
hey,
cool.
Josh, things have really fallen apart. That's awesome news with the couplet.
So if you heard Cameron, he said things have really fallen apart, and I tend to agree. That is great news. Cam, do that again. All right, let's go back in time. Can you kind of do it on your own accord, pause it a little bit so we can take it a little bit slower? So this is at 11:46, all right, so that was about 10 minutes ago.
New warning for...
So the rotation is falling apart a little bit. As expected, they extended that warning, but they didn't extend it very far. So that's very promising. This rotation is absolutely falling apart, but we need to watch it because these storms have been recycling. We saw it happen in South Georgia earlier, so we need to continue to closely monitor this. Again, watch as the winds just fall apart and they're not wrapping around each other like they were before. And that is very encouraging news for my friends along that county line between Gadsden and Leon. Now, we've now crossed over 20, all right? So now we're making our way towards Highway 90. That's gonna be the next spot up. This is still well to the west, all right, of Cap Circle at this time. It's gonna be right around here, okay? So this is gonna be passing pretty much right in between the Gadsden County line and Cap Circle Northwest as it makes its way across Highway 90. But here's the thing, Cam, you can switch back to those debris signature views again. Yeah, so before, if you want to go back a little bit, we had a very tight ball. You'll have to move it up. Yeah. So this was at 11:45. That was 10 minutes ago. See how bright it was? Look as it fell apart the past several radar scans. All right. It's moving into a little bit of a noisy area in terms of the radar, so you don't get quite a good look at it, but it's definitely not quite as impressive. All right. We continue to see signs of weakening, and that's great news. But for now, we need to continue to act like this tornado is on the ground. All right, or at least we need to prepare like it is, because it may have lifted, it could still redevelop and pop back down. So I'd rather play on the safe side of things right now. So again, if we are traveling in between Midway and Tallahassee along Highway 90 or on I-10, let's not, all right? Wait for this storm to pass on through. If you got friends, family that are heading either eastbound out of Midway along I-10 or Highway 90 or westbound out of Tallahassee along 90 and I-10, let them know to pull over, all right? Wait this thing out. Still, encouraging news. I mean, this latest radar scan shows barely any rotation at all.
It's fizzled.
Yeah, so, honestly, there's very likely that this tornado is no longer on the ground. Very encouraging. We still have the warning in place. We still need to prepare as if it is, potentially going back on the ground. So for now, it's good news. It's encouraging. Let's continue to watch. We've got a live view for you now outside Doak Campbell Stadium. This camera is pointing from the parking garage on FSU's campus. It points towards the west. So it's staring right into the mouth of that thunderstorm. Definitely impressive. very dark skies about to roll over the capital city. Again, that little cell that we've been watching that had dropped a tornado earlier in Leon County appears to be falling apart a little bit, and that's great news. Thank you guys for pulling up this view. I just wanted to see what it looked like out there. We can go back to the radar view. Let's go, yeah, Cameron's kind of just investigating this while we were looking at that. You can keep on this. It's a great picture of just how that rotation has fallen apart from around 15 to 20 minutes ago. And look, as the red and the green stop interacting, the green literally disappears. So that means there's no winds that are moving towards the radar site. All those winds are moving away from the radar site, kind of feeding into the thunderstorm, but not rotating. Awesome news. Let's continue to monitor. Want to zoom out real quick, big picture-wise, see what's going on out there. Again, our line stretching all the way from now, making its way almost out of Moultrie at this point. Thomasville, about to get the worst of it here. I'm sure you've gotten lots of heavy rain and frequent lightning over the past 5 to 10 minutes now. And the worst of the storm is, about to make its way into the Tallahassee city limits. We've already seen it in western Leon County, especially along Lake Talquin. How about who's in the clear? Everywhere from Grady County to the west in South Georgia is in the clear. Yeah, everyone to the left of that line is good to go, including Gadsden County. You guys are set at this point too. My friends down by the coast in Franklin County, I know you're getting battered by some thunderstorms too. Don't worry, we're keeping an eye on things for you there. But again, this line has moved so slow. It's noon right now. It's parked over Thomasville, Tallahassee. At around 8 o'clock, it was all the way back here. All right, so this thing is really taking its time. It's moving like 10 miles an hour, 10, 15 miles an hour at the most. Okay, so my friends that are in Perry, in Live Oak, even up through South Central Georgia, this is not going to be until this afternoon, like 2, 3 o'clock. And then by the time we get to like 5, finally a cold front's going to push everything out, so that's good news. Okay, Cam, what do you say? Let's go back in on, we'll focus a little bit on Tallahassee again real quick, just on the radar. Look at all that lightning. Yeah, it was so hard to see with anything there. So we took the lightning off just to give you a better idea. Switching back to our winds, again, we still have an active tornado warning in place. Cam, this one is in place until 12:15?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, hopefully they expire this thing. I can't even tell where the rotation would be anymore.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so that's all good news. Okay. And that means where those winds were wrapping around each other and dropped a tornado on the ground earlier in Leon County, those winds are no longer rotating. So honestly, you're going to see this tornado warning likely expire, hopefully before 12:15, and that'd be great. We can talk a little bit of news and a little bit more weather as well. Cam is taking us back in time. We're following this little ball right there. That's what we call a debris ball. That shows us where the tornado was moving. So this was back at around 11:30. That's when the tornado developed 30 minutes ago, crossed over 267, moved to the south of Fort Braden, made its way just along and south of that Gadsden County line, made its way across Highway 20, potentially still as a tornado, but at this point, it's really fallen apart. All right, similar view as you look at the storm relative velocities, giving us a good idea of what the winds were doing as well. So here's where we are now. It's hard to see. Probably what's left of that rotating thunderstorm is likely crossing I-10 as we speak, Cap Circle Northwest as well. So really the next spot for that thunderstorm, that individual cell, will make its way across 27 here pretty shortly too. So again, all encouraging news. We'll wait until this tornado warning expires, until we go back to our normally scheduled noon broadcast here within the next couple of minutes. We can focus in on South Georgia real quick just to get a check of what our friends are up to there. Moultrie, the worst of it is past you, so my friends in Adel, you're going to be up next for that. A little bit further to the south, Thomasville getting the worst of those thunderstorms as we speak. So that means Brooks County, including Quitman, you will be up next for those as well. We'll move a little bit further down to the south now, moving into the Big Bend. And what do we have going on here? Well, Jefferson County, pretty quiet, including Monticello for the time being, just some of those stray showers out in front. The worst of it, it's not even made its way actually into Tallahassee yet. Not even made its way into northern Leon County too. This is going to be a pretty bad storm as it makes its way into spots like, we'll say, Bradfordville, northern Leon County. Wakulla, the worst of it, still a little bit to your west too. Again, this is going to be a pretty strong cell. There's a severe thunderstorm warning in place all throughout Franklin County, from St. George through Apalachicola, East Point, Carabel, everyone's included in that. That's going to make its way into Wakulla soon. So folks, South Choppy, St. Mark's, the worst of it is on the way to you as well. So we'll go back to the tornado warning. We're hopefully waiting for this thing to expire here very shortly because, again, it doesn't look like we have a tornado on the ground anymore. This, again, the view of the winds trying to show us if there's any rotation in there, and there's really not. All right, things have fallen apart quite nicely. That's, I guess, what's left of the rotation now. So the worst of that thunderstorm making its way now into west side of Tallahassee, okay, along Cap Circle, northwest, southwest. But this, again, that tornado warning is expiring at 12:15. It'd be great if it expires even sooner. I think they can do that. We'll switch to the debris view at least one more time. I don't think we'll need to go back to it after that because I think it's just a big mess at this point. This is the tool that we were using earlier to see exactly where the tornado was. It's very messy once you get close to the radar site, but still, nothing's going to stand out anymore because those winds are just not rotating around themselves either. So again, okay, cool. So they just extended this severe thunderstorm warning down into Wakulla County as well. Just like I talked about, those are some storms packing some gusty winds, probably in excess of 50 to 60 miles per hour, some really heavy downpours and lots of frequent lightning. So again, anywhere from Sop Choppy, eventually through St. Mark's, Shell Point, you're going to get the worst of that storm. Probably the worst of it stays a little bit to the south of Crawfordville. So that's why the warning is a little bit more so directed to our coastal areas in Wakulla County. It looks like we had the severe thunderstorm warning on the board earlier in Leon County. That has also expired, but yeah, this grouping of thunderstorms right here is going to roll right through the capital city within the next 20 minutes or so, and it's going to cause quite a bit of problems, especially because it's so slow moving. You're going to see some of those low-lying roadways start to pile up with some water. So again, if we're anywhere in Leon County, specifically in the Tallahassee city limits, I'd go ahead and avoid the roadways for the next hour or so if you can. Wait till those storms pass through, let some of that water drain out a little bit before getting back out on the roadways. We continue to watch this tornado warning, again, set to expire at 12:15. Cam, have you seen anything new with this one?
No new updates from the Weather Service, and like you've been talking about, there's really nothing on velocity. Thankfully, that tight rotation has really fallen apart over the past 15 to 20 minutes, which is great news. But again, like we talked about, we had a confirmed tornado in southwestern Leon, but at this point that looks to have fizzled, which is awesome news. But again, this is a setup where those quick spin ups are possible throughout the day. So don't let your guard down just yet if you're watching us in places like Jefferson, like Madison, like Taylor counties, because we can see more of those spin ups as we go through the day.
Yeah, and as Cameron is saying that they just had issued another severe thunderstorm warning. We'll get to that in a second. There's still a tornado watch in place for all the following counties here, highlighted in red, I believe until 6:15. But the way these tornado watches work is that that line of storms passes over your county, and once it does, you are no longer under the threat of tornadoes. So I can safely say that spots like Mitchell, Decatur, Gadsden, you are no longer under that threat for any tornadoes, so you'll get dropped off of that tornado watch soon. Here's a zoomed in view. This is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that has popped up for northern Leon County. Now this is another one where they have put the tornado possible tag on that. There was a severe thunderstorm for the southern half of Leon County earlier, especially the western half, where it also had that tornado possible tag, and all of a sudden we had a tornado pop up. So that's why, again, right now, if you are on the north side of Tallahassee, including Bradfordville, points to the north, even up into that southern reaches of Thomas County, this is a great time to be inside. All right, wait this one out. This is going to be packing some very frequent lightning and some very gusty winds as well. That's going to be the issue with this one. Maybe Golden Eagle would be a great camera to have on tap, so we can pull that up here in just a couple of minutes. You can still see a lot of those heavy rains and thunderstorms extending northward into Thomasville as well. So camera's going to time this out for us here for this storm heading into northern Leon County. Bradfordville, it's going to be reaching your door here in about 5 minutes or so. Centerville, maybe another 5 to 10 minutes or so. Miccosukee, we're looking at around 20 minutes. Then we're way off into South Georgia. We're talking spots like Metcalf. That's at around 12:33, so another 25 to 30 minutes there. So again, that is a severe thunderstorm warning for northern reaches of Leon County and southern reaches of Thomas County as well, and a little bit of Grady County too. We have that view from Golden Eagle now. This is in Leon County, so let's pull that up here. Yeah, gray skies. I'm sure you're going to see some flashes of lightning there as well. This is kind of a frame-by-frame view, but you can see the wind whipping around those trees just a little bit there. Some rain on the lens. I think the worst of it is going to be passing through here within that severe thunderstorm warning, probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. So again, the big thing that we've been watching is going to be that tornado warning that was in Leon County. It's still on the board until, is it there anymore? Did they get rid of it?
They are planning on canceling it. I'm not sure if they've done it yet, but they are planning on letting that go.
Okay, can we zoom in on that one more time?
They just canceled it.
Beautiful. All right, folks, I've got great news. They have canceled that tornado warning that was in Leon County. It looks like that tornado has been lifted off the ground for a good 10 minutes now. So great news there. Folks in the back, are we going to resume? Are we ready to resume our normal noon newscast? Should we go to break or? Okay, sure. Yeah, so let's just go over again one more time what's going on, and we'll resume our normal newscast, get you a little bit of news. We'll, of course, touch back on this. But again, we're tracking this line extending all the way from now, moving out of Moultrie towards Adel in South Georgia, through Thomasville, now through Tallahassee and Wakulla as well. We've got a couple severe thunderstorm warnings on the board. You've got one there in Franklin County that's about to move into coastal reaches of Wakulla. You've got another one here in northern Leon County, including the north side of Tallahassee and Bradfordville. That one has a tornado possible tag on it, so we'll be watching that one really closely to see if any of those little spin-ups try to pop up. Again, the tornado watch is in place until 6:15 p.m., 6:30 p.m. This evening. That's for our easternmost counties. All right, so if you're in Clinch, Eccles, down through Hamilton, Suwannee County, this thing's not going to be getting to you till like 3, 4 o'clock maybe. Okay, you've got plenty of time. That'll be where the tornado watch stays in place the longest. Counties will be getting dropped off the tornado watch further to the west shortly. Okay, we'll talk more about this. We'll check back in on the radar. We'll get you some more news as well. That team just to the south of the state line within the next around 10 minutes or so. All right, that is a tornado right there. See how that couplet just became really close together? See how that bright red is interacting with that bright green right there? That tells us that the winds are rotating around each other very quickly. And here is your debris signature. There's your tornado right here. All right, I can name some streets for you. Let's get even more zoomed in, okay? This is going to be to the north of Bannerman. All right, just to the north end of Bannerman. Slide me a little bit more. Yeah, so what do we got here? Is that that's Deer Lake Road? All right, that's Deer Lake Road. This tornado just passed over Deer Lake Road. All right, unfortunately, some of the debris getting picked up right now is from that neighborhood in northern Leon County. All right, I'm really sorry to say that, but that's what some of that debris is getting picked up. This is going to continue pushing more so to the north and to the east, more of that little easterly component, right? We drew that arrow. It's going to be passing over 319 here within the next 5 minutes, all right? There it is, a more solid debris signature. There is a lot of debris getting picked up by this tornado, getting lofted thousands of feet into the sky as we speak. Again, we're traveling into a little bit less populated area there in northern Leon County. You just saw this warning polygon become solid. That means that the National Weather Service has also now confirmed this as a tornado on the ground in northern Leon County. This is well to the north of Bradfordville. All right, we're getting a little bit closer to the state line as we continue to move minute by minute here. Cameron drew a good little tool right there to show you where it's headed. Let's get even more zoomed in all the way here, just to get an idea if I can call out any streets as we get a little bit closer. Yeah, not so many, okay? You can see over there, that's Deer Lake Road. All right, it just passed over that, unfortunately picked up debris from that neighborhood in northern Leon County. Here is your tornado. Watch, look at the different colors. You've got the red colors, that's the wind moving away from the radar site. You've got the green colors, that's the winds moving towards the radar site. We call that rotation, and your tornado is going to be right in the middle. All right, again, this is just to the west of Highway 319. Folks, if you know anyone that's traveling north or southbound on 319 right now between Tallahassee and Thomasville, they need to pull over. All right, you're getting into that wooded area just to the south of the state line. This is north of Childs High School. All right, we need to make sure that those folks get off the roadways get to somewhere safe, get inside, away from windows, lowest level in the most interior part of your home. I know we have some homes in this area, all right? I know it's not a very populated area, but I know you got some plantation homes around there as well. You need to make sure, again, if you are in northern Leon County, this is the view from Chiles. All right, this is Chiles overlooking the football field there. I believe this is either looking due west or due north. Yeah, it's looking due north, and yeah, it just kind of paints the picture. There's really nothing to see. Every time we get a tornado down here, it's going to be rain wrapped, so they're very difficult to get a picture of, very difficult to see. This is just a wall of very heavy rain right now and some powerful thunderstorms moving through northern Leon County. Okay, again, the good news is this tornado that's confirmed right now is north of Chiles High School. Okay, it's north of Bradfordville, but man, that is a big tornado. What's that, Cameron? Cameron, if you could switch on your mic, we can't hear you.
It's on. I'm on sports.
There it is. All right, go ahead. Say that again.
Fish Camp Tally, Cade Ireland Park. Any of these areas sound familiar? That's close to where that tornado is right now.
Okay, great. So we had Fish Camp Alley.
Tally.
Okay. Yeah, Fish Camp Tally.
And
this
Cade
is Lake
Ireland Park.
Imonia, I believe, right around that area. So that's where we're traveling right now. I'd love to take off all of these different warnings and stuff. We can really see what's on a street level view here. It's hard to see just because of everything that's going on, but that is a large, destructive tornado. All right, you've got Floyd Chapel. That's going to be in the path of this. Again, anything along 319 that's north of Chiles and south of the state line, you need to be inside, away from windows, on the lowest level in the most interior part of your home. Please, I beg you folks, especially if you're going to be along 319 and on the east side of it. I see a Bethel. That's going to be eventually in this path as well, right, Cam? Yeah, it's a little hard to see because you got to zoom in so much on it. But this is getting closer and closer now. This is County Road 12. All right, I'll go on this side real quick. That's where the station used to be, County Road 12. All right, where it intersects with 319, just to the south, that's where the tornado is going to be passing. And I'll tell you what, folks, this is a large and destructive tornado. It has picked up a lot of debris over the past 5 to 10 minutes, lofted it thousands of feet into the sky. That's why we can see it here on our correlation coefficient. So this is going to continue moving along this path that Cameron drew for you there with our arrow tool, eventually crossing over 319 within the next 5 minutes or so. Cam, do you want to zoom out and show us the path that you're kind of looking at real quick? Yeah, so he's given us a good idea. You got to go a little bit further off towards the north, got the lower third there.
Give me one sec.
There we go, beautiful. Cool, so that's our tornado. He's kind of showing you the path that it's took. He's showing you where it's heading now. All right, here's some spots. You got Floyd Chapel in the path. You've got the lake, you've got Imonia there. You got Brown Bethel Church, you've got Mount Olive Church, and you've got Spring Hill Church. That's you head across the state line, and that's where this thing is headed, okay? This is on the northern reach of Leon County. Let's get a zoomed in look again. We just got a new radar scan just to see what this is looking like. Yep, that is still a definite tornado crossing over Highway 319 right now, just to the south of the Georgia state line. All right, pretty much to the south of the intersection of County Road 12, and 319. That's where that confirmed tornado is. And again, at this point, it's going to be crossing over 319, so folks coming down from Thomasville up through Tallahassee, hopefully they just put a pause on it for like 10 minutes, let this thing cross over the road. It's going to continue moving more so now into the northeastern reaches of Leon County, but still very north, like we're talking way north of Miccosukee. This is right going to be on the state line. It's going to cross over into the far southeastern reaches of Grady County for a very brief time before it makes its way over into Thomas County. But folks that live in and around Brown Bethel Church, that's going to be on the state line in southern Grady County. I beg you, I need you to get inside. I need you to get off the roadways. Please get into an interior room on the lowest level, away from windows. That's the safest place to be in a tornado. I've seen it save people's lives before, back in May when we had tornadoes roll through the city of Tallahassee, okay? I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference where you go in your house. If you're in this path and you want to keep listening, you can turn up your TV, you can pull out your phone, go on the WCTV website, click live stream, and I'll pop up there as well. All right, here's your tornado. That's indicating the winds rotating around themselves. This is right along Highway 319. All right, that's Thomasville Road. A really unfortunate situation, folks. Again, well, I'll tell you this, if you had any plans of traveling in between Thomasville and Tallahassee today on Thomasville Road, don't do it. Let the crews get out there and do what they need to do. This is going to slowly continue to make its way across 319. Again, that path takes it into southern reaches of Grady County. Again, this warning, just to give you an idea of if you're just tuning in, this is well to the north of Tallahassee city limits. It's to the north of Bradfordville at this point as well. Again, folks in and around Brown Bethel Church, if you live in that far southeast corner of Grady County, that's where this storm is headed. All right, and again, I know there's a few homes along this area, so you know where you are. If you're looking at this map, if you have friends or family that live up here right along the state line to the east of Thomasville Road, please let them know that there is a large and destructive tornado coming in. Cameron, what kind of language has the National Weather Service used on this? I'm sure they put a little bit of a tag on it, right?
Yeah, they're calling it a damaging tornado, a confirmed tornado about 15 miles northeast of Tallahassee, also moving northeast at 40. A few of those streets that are in the path, we're talking Sims Lane, we're talking Tennessee Lane. One of these are Shalley Road. If you hear any of these places that sound familiar, this is coming towards you and you have got to seek shelter immediately, as this is a tornado on the ground moving out of northern Leon into southeastern Grady County and then next up in line southwestern Thomas County.
Yep, great advice, Cam. Thank you so much for calling out those streets. I know that's really helpful for folks. Again, that's the county road where it intersects with 319, and this tornado is now crossed over 319. It's now to the east of 319. There it is, clear as day still. It's been on our debris signature for a long time. So this is a large tornado, and it's still not showing any signs of weakening like some of the other ones have earlier, okay? There's the arrow. That's the path it's going to take, all right? We're going to be staying to the south of Cairo, all right? Well to the south of Cairo. I believe we've got, can you zoom up a little bit, go up north a little bit more?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. So I'm looking at Metcalf, all right? I'm looking at Metcalf in southern Thomas County. I think it's going to end up passing a little bit more so to the north of you. Again, we'll be getting close to 122, but not yet. This is really, again, all these storms have been really slow moving. This warning is in place until 12:45 p.m. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of damage reports here very shortly, and of course we'll share them with you, and if you get any, you can go ahead and let me know. Here's your debris signature. It is now making its way across the state line, all right? Cameron, can we go ahead and go to the storm relative velocities, get a view of the winds? That'll tell us exactly. There's your tornado. It is now crossing from Florida into Georgia, out of Leon County into southeastern reaches of Grady County. That's the path it's going to continue to take, all right? Again, if we're along 319, the good news is for now, you're in the clear. All right, even 319 up into Grady County, this thing's going to continue to move away. All right, it's going to continue to move towards the north and towards the east. So eventually, we're going to have to be watching Highway 84. All right, zoom in, Cam. No, that's not 84. We're well south of that. My bad. Again, we're going to have to watch as this makes its way almost kind of perpendicular, parallel that is to Highway 319. It's going to continue to move in this general direction. All right, let me get this is Metcalf Road right there, all right, as it makes its way in between the county lines. So this is not going to be in southern Grady County for a whole long, all right? It's going to quickly make its way across the county line into Thomas County. Again, that circle right there is exactly where your tornado is. We can switch back to the debris signature now just to show you the latest scan.
Jeez.
It's only getting worse. This is literally only getting worse. All right, you see how bright these colors are now? It's like pretty much purple as the high as the scale goes. So this is picking up a lot of debris off of the ground and lofting it super high up into the sky. All right, let's time out some spots that are kind of in the path here. I'm going to pronounce things wrong, but you got to deal with me here. We got Enotok Church. That's at 1237. It's probably going to pass a little bit to the north of there. Magnolia School in southern Thomas County. If you're there, I want you to go ahead and get inside. Take your tornado precautions. Stay away from windows in the lowest level in the most interior part of the room that you're in. All right? This thing, again, It's just made its way across 319. It's now in the southeastern reach of Grady County, but eventually it's going to make its way across. That's Metcalf Road. All right, so if we're traveling in between Thomas and Grady County, in the southern reaches of the county, you need to make sure that you get off the roadways, get somewhere safe. All right?
Hey, Josh, a few more of those small streets. Forest Shalley Road, we're talking Metcalf Beachton Road, Walker Lane, Walden Road. Any of these areas sound familiar? This is really close to you guys, and there's that new tornado warning.
Okay, cool. So the National Weather Service has issued a new tornado warning, so we have a new warning polygon
This
to look
does
at.
include Thomasville.
This one does include Thomasville. All right, unfortunately, this is what I was thinking. If it holds together, now's the time. If you are in Thomasville, you have time to get inside, to get off the roadways. All right, you've got more than 10 to 15 minutes. That's plenty of time. Call up your folks, call up your friends. If you're in Thomasville, especially on the south side of the town, you need to go ahead and get inside, away from windows, lowest level. Either turn up your TV or bring your phone into the room that you're in and go on the website, WCTV.tv, click on the live stream button, and it'll pop up just like you're watching TV, okay? Here's the path, all right? This is, if you're in Metcalf, you're good, okay? This is gonna pass to the north of you, all right? That's 122, heading north out of Metcalf, eventually where that intersects with 319. That's gonna be the next spot that we're watching, all right? For now, it's staying to the south of Beachton, okay? It is going to make its way across the county line within the next couple of minutes, okay? And just in case you're tuning in and you saw that the tornado warning was in Leon County, it's out of Leon County now. Unfortunately, it definitely did cause some problems on the northern side of the county in some of those neighborhoods to the north of Bradfordville there. Here's some areas that we'll be watching over the next 20 minutes or so, okay? There's the hospital. That's around 12:50. That's in about 15 minutes. Thomasville, same thing. So again, if you're in Thomasville, you've got 15 minutes, okay? That's plenty of time. Now's a great time to get inside, all right? It's going to be making its way out of Grady County here very shortly. Magnolia School, you've got less time. You need to go ahead and take those tornado precautions now, especially in and around Spring Hill Church. You've got the State Hospital, it's even a couple minutes before. Then you got Newark, it's a little bit later. All right, for now, my focus is going to be Thomasville. Here's that tornado. It's showing the debris signature. It looks like a little bit of a mess to the north of it just because of some radar noise. Let's switch back to the winds again to give us a definitive view.
Hey, Josh, do you think that's actually debris that's being carried away from the storm?
Well, that's why I want to switch to the winds, because you're seeing a lot of mess right there. That could be, you know, winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere. When you have a powerful tornado, they do a lot of crazy things. So we could be seeing some of that debris getting lofted upwards and then being pulled northward, all right? That might be what that other debris signature is, or it could be some radar scatter. Nonetheless, we can get a definitive view of where the tornado is by looking at our storm relative velocities. Now, I'll tell you one thing. We look for good signs, okay? I'm looking at this scan, and it doesn't look as impressive as what it did when it was in northern Leon County, making its way across the state line into Georgia, okay? It's still there, all right? The tornado's on the ground. Maybe it's falling apart, hopefully, all right? But it's making its way across from Grady into Thomas County. It's kind of sliding just to the south of 319. I think it's going to run almost kind of parallel to 319, okay? So, with that said, if we live south of Thomasville, south along 122 in Thomas County, we need to be inside, away from windows, lowest level, most interior part of your home. Sometimes that's a closet, sometimes that's a bathroom. You can bring blankets, pillows in with you. I have a bike helmet. That's also really helpful to, in case any debris decides, you know, to break down, you've got protection for yourself, okay? I know we still have some homes here. Again, there's your tornado, all right? That will continue moving due north and due east, almost parallel and to the south of 319 Thomasville Road, heading out of Beachton into Thomasville, okay? Here's some timetables again, all right? For the hospital, we're around 12:50, okay? Similar story for Thomasville. So we got about maybe 10 minutes now to take those precautions, okay? We're continuing to watch the winds. What I want to see is this debris ball kind of start to fizzle out a little bit, all right? Trinity Church, that's right there. You need to be inside now. If you hear me, interior part of your home at this instant. The tornado is about to cross over you, all right? If it's probably not right on top of you, because sometimes these debris scans are like a couple minutes late. You'll see the actual tornado itself a little bit out ahead of it. I continue to see encouraging news when it comes to these storm relative velocities telling us which direction the winds are moving, okay? Right now, I still see some winds that are moving away and towards the Tallahassee radar site that are a little too close together for comfort, but I'm not seeing them wrap around each other and making a tight, bright ball of winds like what we saw in northern Leon County. Cameron, do you think we can, you can go ahead. I know you're about to maybe time things out, or if not, we can move a little bit further south and watch how this thing has played out over the past 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that. Cool. All right, so bring me a little bit further south as well. So this was when it was in Leon County to the west of 319. You see how bright that little color is with these reds and these greens interacting? Definite tornado, all right? That continued across 319, still staying very bright and very tight up until it got to that state line, still holding together, and now you start to see what I see, all right? Things not quite as organized as what they were before. But what happens is these tornadoes, again, they eventually will start to lift and the rotation becomes a little bit more broad, but we need to keep an eye on things to make sure it stays that way, because sometimes they recycle. Sometimes they'll try to spin back up and drop another tornado on the ground. So right now, things looking a little bit of a better spot compared to what they did around 20 minutes ago. Now, we still have that debris ball. So there's still debris lofted very high in the sky because of the powerful winds from the tornado, all right? So we'll go ahead and time this out again. Thomasville, you are under this tornado warning, all right? We can take Grady County off of the tornado warning because it's moving out of Grady at this point, all right? Here's some spots, all right? You've got Archibald Memorial Hospital, 1249, Thomasville, 1249 as well. You've got the urgent care, 1253, Midway Church, that's 1254, and New Shiloh Church, that's at 1256, all right? Again, Thomasville is going to be the main concern at this time. I urge you again, yes, I'm seeing some positive signs, but I still need you to get inside, take those tornado precautions, okay? Here is that area of rotation. It's still present, okay? We're still having winds that are wrapping around each other, causing rotation in a thunderstorm. That produces tornadoes. This is still continuing to run parallel along 319. I'm curious to see our next radar scan just to kind of see how it's shaping up. This tornado warning, is this one still in place until 1 p.m., Cameron?
Give me 1 second.
The one that goes into Thomasville?
Yes.
Okay, so this is still set until 1 p.m. All right, we'll continue to see how long that stays. We're still seeing debris lofted. I mean, this was a really big tornado. I mean, this thing brought a lot of debris up into the atmosphere, all right? It still kind of looks like it's hanging out up there, okay? So that's concerning. So that's why still, although the rotation may be improving a little bit in our favor, if we're in Thomasville, anywhere surrounding the city, we need to make sure that we're taking our tornado precautions. Again, including the schools too in Thomasville, all right? I've been there several times. Make sure that we're getting inside, all right, crouching down under the desk, in the hallways, away from windows, all right? That's the best place to be. But we'll continue to track it and see how things evolve as it continues to push closer and closer to the city limits, all right? Again, we're still sitting just to the south of 319, all right? Cameron, this is a good opportunity. Can we just go ahead and look at the radar picture itself to see where the rain and all the thunderstorms are, all right? Here we are. This is a dangerous thunderstorm anyways, all right? Right on top of Thomasville, okay? So much lightning we need to take it off so we can actually see things. Moderate to heavy rainfall all throughout Thomasville, especially in southern Thomas County near 122. Let's zoom out a little bit real quick just to see what's going on, big picture view, all right? Checking in on our folks. Let's go down to Leon County real quick. All right, still have that severe thunderstorm warning in place, still getting some very heavy rain, especially on the north side of town along I-10 and up all the way through the northern half of the county. Moving south a little bit just to check in on southern Leon down through Wakulla, still have that severe thunderstorm warning in place for the coastal areas of Wakulla County, places like Shell Point, St. Mark's, Panacea. All right, Crawfordville, you're still getting some of that light to moderate rain, probably going to get some heavy stuff here in a few minutes, and it is starting to now move into Jefferson County too. I wanted to give you a quick overview of what's going on all across our area. So again, the main concern right now is going to be what's unfolding in Thomas County. Now, we continue to keep an eye on the winds. I think the Valdosta radar is down. That would be really helpful right now. But we'll continue to use the Leon County one. Again, there's your center of rotation. Riding just along Highway 319, you've still got, I mean, it looks like the debris is not getting any better. All right.
That's kind of confusing me because the couplet doesn't look that great.
Yeah, so Cameron and I are seeing the same things here. The couplet. We call the couplet the area where the winds are rotating around each other. All right, and we showed you earlier how close together, how bright these reds and greens, the winds moving in opposite directions or wrapping around each other. Right now, the rotation is very broad. So here's one possibility. We've got a rotating thunderstorm with a really strong updraft, winds moving upwards that could be keeping some of that debris up there, all right? Maybe our tornado isn't as powerful on the ground right now, but all that debris is still being lofted upwards. That's why it's getting picked up there on the debris signature scans. Nonetheless, as long as we see that, as long as we see some winds rotating around each other, whether it's broad or whether it's tight, and we have the tornado warning on the board, we need to go ahead and take those tornado precautions. This thing's getting closer and closer to Thomasville as we speak. Again, here's some of the timing on that. I'll move over here so you get a better view. We're talking around 12:50 for Thomasville in the city limits, okay? Maybe even a little bit earlier for southern reaches. So again, we're talking around 5 to 10 minutes, all right? And that's all we've got left. This thing is continuing to ride along Highway 319. See, that gives you a good idea of the motion of it. This is the cell that we're tracking. Forget all that mess up there. That's what we're watching. That's continuing to move due north and due east, all right? So now we're getting real close to that intersection of 319 and what is this, Cameron, 122?
122.
Yeah. So if we have any cameras in Thomasville, we can always pop those up whenever you'd like as we continue to monitor these winds. Again, not seeing that tight couplet. Here's a view. Okay, so this is 319 and Metcalf Road. This is actually where the tornado passed through. It's encouraging that, oh, this is still heading its way. Oh, so maybe we got a further north Metcalf Road. We still got the street lights on. That's a good news. I see some folks out there on the roadways. Not the best time to be out there. Again, if you got friends or family out on the roads in Thomasville right now, especially just to the southern half of the city, make sure you let them know. Pull on over. Find a gas station, somewhere safe. Hang out in there for a little bit. Let this storm pass on over. You can get back to your business. All right, let's go back to this is our debris signatures that we're looking at right now. Again, some of this debris may have been lofted by the tornado earlier. It's just still sticking up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. But this is the area that we're watching for the rotation. That's going to continue to move due north and due east. So now, we've got Memorial Hospital. 12:47. I mean, that's in the less than 5 minutes, all right? Again, I told you in about 15 minutes ago that you had time in Thomasville. Now you don't, all right? Hopefully, you took this time to call friends and family, found that spot in your home you need to be in, and let's get there, all right? Let's stick around there until we can get this storm to pass over, and then again, business as usual once that storm gets rid of us, all right? So again, we're looking a couple more spots. Thomasville Regional, 12:59 there, all right? Here's our area of rotation, right
it's
there.
Really hard to see anything on velocity.
Yeah, still not looking very impressive, but again, nonetheless, this is the spot that we're watching, and there's still an active tornado warning. So this is now crossing over 122. All right, so if anything, the cell that we're watching is likely to slide more so on the southern and eastern side of Thomasville. All right, so if you live on the northwest side of town, that particular cell is likely to pass to your south, okay? So we're now really focused in on the southern and eastern half of Thomasville proper. We'll let you know when that passes over Highway 19. Again, still seeing a little bit of a mess there on the debris signature, but if we're looking at anything closely, it's going to be this right here. Yeah, Cameron's circling that for us as well. So this is just crossing 122. We're pretty much running parallel to 319. Cameron's taking a little bit definite northern.
Yeah, it looks like more of a northerly track.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So again, we're running pretty much right through the heart of Thomasville. So if we're in Thomasville, now's our time. It's right now. Time to get inside, away from windows, lowest level, most interior part of your home. You guys can help us out. If you're in Thomasville, when this thing passes over, if you want to give us a call at the station, let us know what you're seeing, what you're hearing, that would be great. All right, eyes on the ground are really important, but we want you to do that from the safety of inside your home, especially away from those windows too, okay? So again, there's a brand new scan. There's the area that we're watching, just about to make its way into Thomasville. We're getting to the edge of that warning too, so it'll be interesting to see if they extend that. Can we go switch back to our velocity scans, just to look at the winds again? Again, messy. I know there's a lot going on to the south of this, all right, so they may be interfering just a little bit with the view that we're getting, but again, not seeing as tight of a couplet, so it's really hard to tell if there's still a tornado on the ground. But here's the thing, there was a big tornado on the ground, and if it's still there, you'd rather be safe than sorry, folks. That's why I tell you, Thomasville, it's there. All right, it's pretty much moving through Thomasville as we speak. Whether we still have a tornado on the ground or whatever is left of it is continuing to move through the city, parallel to 319. It's crossed over 122. Here's Highway 19. It's going to be approaching there pretty soon as well. Do we want to zoom in a little bit on the town of Thomasville just to kind of look at the radar and see what's going on? Yeah, I mean, if we had any rotation left, it'd be right there. It looks like the rain is kind of wrapping around on the southern half of that rotation. So honestly, the heaviest rainfall has kind of moved out of the downtown area in Thomasville. Lots of heavy rain, especially on the southern and eastern half of the city. We still continue to see that little debris signature, again, about to pass through Thomasville. So one more time, again, my friends in Thomasville, please, let's get inside, away from windows, lowest level, most interior part of your home. Have a couple blankets, a couple pillows, something to keep you comfortable in there for a little bit as this continues to move through the city. All right? Yeah, Cameron's doing a good job circling exactly where that is right there. Again, you've got downtown, smack dab in the middle there. All right, this is going to pass a little bit more so now on the eastern half of town. We want to call out a couple roads. You've got Pine Tree Road up there, that's in the path. Again, there's 35 as well. It's crossing over Highway 84 as we speak. All right, so if you are to the south of Highway 84, things are about to improve. But if you're on the north side of Highway 84 in the northeastern side of Thomasville, this is when the worst of it is now passing through you, or whatever is left of what we're still tracking right now. Let's switch back to the wind views again, just to see if anything has changed. I want to keep my eyes on it. Again, still not seeing a tight couplet at this time. Cameron's doing a good job of zooming out and showing us what a tight couplet means. And that right there is what I mean. See how those reds and those greens wrapped around each other, caused a bright spot in the middle? That's what we call a definite tornado, right? That passed along 319 in northern Leon County across the state line. It stuck together in Grady County. It looked to be falling apart as it was heading into Thomas County, and that's where it sits now, all right? So again, it doesn't look as impressive, but I don't have eyes on the ground there right now, so I can't tell what's going on. Okay, so this is encouraging. Cameron, I think you'd agree with me. So some of this debris seems to be definitely falling apart, right?
Yes, I would agree.
So that's certainly an encouraging sign, all right? And I do believe that we're going to be getting close to the edge of the tornado warning polygon, and the National Weather Service has not yet extended that tornado warning polygon. So I'm sure they're seeing the same things as we are right now in terms of we're not looking at a tight couplet, we're not seeing the winds rotate around each other very quickly, but we're still seeing debris that's lofted up into the sky, which could be some of the remnants of the debris that it picked up when it was in northern Leon and southeastern reaches of Grady County. Again, this tornado warning is set to expire at 1 p.m. they may extend it. We'll probably find that out within the next 5 minutes because it's actually going to make its way out of the tornado warning polygon here shortly. Let's zoom into Thomasville just to get an idea. What's left of the rotation would be up here, right? So we're out of the downtown area, okay? So now we're heading more so on the north and eastern side of town. We've got Dillon right there in the path, all right, which may not be included in that tornado warning polygon. Nonetheless, yeah, it's not. But I'd go ahead and stay inside just in case, keep those tornado precautions going. If you're closer to downtown Thomasville, what's left of that rotation has passed over you now, okay? So that's encouraging as news as well. It looks like what was ever left of that debris ball is now really...
expired the warning, Josh.
Okay, that's awesome. They've expired the warning, okay? That's what Cameron told us. So yes, that tornado warning is off the board. That is great news. Again, we're looking at all this debris. Sometimes thunderstorms are so big and powerful, they have these things called updrafts. And sometimes those updrafts can keep that debris up in the clouds for a long time. So perhaps that's what that is. The fact that the National Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning does tell us that they're also seeing what we see, that rotation is just really no longer evident. All right, and hopefully that was the case before it actually made its way into Thomasville, because we'll shortly find that out. But again, unfortunately, this was a powerful, big tornado in northern Leon County and into southeastern reaches of Grady County. So, Cameron, do you want to zoom us out? We'll look at the radar. The National Weather Service has canceled the warning. They may leave it up on our screen until 1 p.m., but again, they've canceled it. That's good news, so we don't need to worry about that one. Besides that, the storms continue to progress eastward. Spots like Valdosta and Perry, you'll be up next in the next hour or two. Spots like Live Oak near Jasper, up through Clinch, Eccles County, you guys will be probably a little bit later on this afternoon. Here's a quick timetable for that, courtesy of Cameron. Thank you for doing that for us. Yeah, spots like Valdosta, 1:15, Perry shortly after that. Jasper around 2 o'clock. We got Wellborn around 2:30. All right, we'll continue to be here. We'll continue to track the storms for you. Well, that's okay. Oh, we've got a storm chaser calling in. All right, we've got a storm chaser calling in, and hopefully we can get them on the line.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Garrett Harvey.
Yes, correct.
Okay, we hear you. Can you let us know where you're calling from? What have you seen?
Yes, so right now I'm in Thomasville, exactly on State Route 35 by the bypass of Thomasville. So far, there's a lot of fast-moving scud clouds, which are low, for viewers listening, it's low-level clouds that are moving relatively quickly. They don't look relatively scary, at least in my perspective. I did pass by some tree damage on US 319 along northern Leon County, but after that, there was nothing else on the road. I have not seen anything specifically in Thomasville, and I think the storm had lifted prior to it arriving, and I'm not seeing anything, at least in my periphery. There's nothing that's going on that I can see that's showing that there's something developing.
Well, Garrett, we really appreciate that. That's good to hear that it doesn't appear that we have damage in Thomasville. So, while you were storm chasing out there, you may have seen the same thing that we saw on the storm relative velocities, those winds. It looks like they fell apart, but you did mention that you were traveling along 319 in Leon County. What did that damage kind of look like?
There was some very small branches, at least from what I saw, there were some small branches just scattered across the roadway. I took some video on it. I think I tagged the Weather Service, but I did see some scattered tree damage across the roadway, at least heading northbound toward Thomasville. I couldn't catch southbound road of 319, but there was some tree branches, some rather small tree branches scattered across the roadway. I didn't see any uprooted trees, at least when I was taking the video and looking around the road. So I was also trying to avoid all of the big tree branches on the roadway. But nothing I didn't see anything major when it came to widespread tree damage. It was just a lot of smaller tree branches scattered across the roadway. I'm going to go back toward there relatively soon, and I'll kind of get an idea of how widespread the tree damages on the southbound side, but the northbound side, you're able to access 319. You just have to go around a few tree branches, but the road is still open, at least from when I was traveling.
All right, Garrett, thank you so much for that report. We do appreciate that. Stay safe out there, please, and feel free to send us in those videos if you do get any of those. We'll send our crews out there as well just to check in on our folks in Leon County. Again, that was Garrett. He's an FSU student, meteorology student, so great news from him, at least when it comes to what he saw in Thomasville. All right, but we're going to send our crews out there. We'll see what happened. The National Weather Service will send those crews out there as well. At least from us here in the studio, Cameron and I will be here. We're going to continue to track these storms as they continue to progress towards the east. But for now, we'll go ahead and send that back to your regular scheduled programming.